They travel at speeds pushing 200 miles per hour. The very best drivers in the world putting their lives on the line every week. It's time to get the lowdown on this week's contenders, plus a look at the key driver matchups. Right now on Gone Racin.
Welcome back into another edition of Gone Racing. Jeff Motley alongside Brendan Gaughan here at the South Point Hotel Casino.
Couple weeks in a row we've been side by
VSiN
side.
Studios. Yes, 2 weeks in a row. We're here side by side. And unfortunately, Brendan, we have to kick off our show with some bad news. The news has come down that Kurt Busch is out of the playoffs. He had already announced he wasn't going to run this weekend at Daytona, but now we know he's not going to make it for the start of the playoffs. So he's given up his waiver, which is now opening up 2 spots going into this Saturday night's race at Daytona. First off, I mean, we want Kurt to get healthy. It's a tough break for Kurt.
Oh, I mean, look, you want the truth? I give a crap about the playoffs. I give a crap about, what missing and the waivers and this and that. All I care about is Kurt being okay. And, I've spoke to him. You've talked to him a little bit. Even my dad called him the other day. But big fella called and asked how he was doing. So that's all I care about is Kurt being okay, and he's not okay enough to race. So if he's not okay enough to race, he's a grown man. It's not like he's 20-year-old. This is a 45-year-old man that finally said, this ain't working right now. And so, Kurt, all we want is you to be better. And Martin Truex Jr. better send you the biggest Christmas goose that anybody has ever sent since, the Christmas Story. I mean, fa-ra-ra-ra-ra, because Martin Truex got a Christmas gift in August.
Well, it certainly puts him in a better position. It's obviously not guaranteed, but he's in a better spot than he was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, or certainly last week. So Martin Truex Jr. is definitely the one that stands to benefit. And we're going to talk a little bit more later on in the show about what the scenarios are for making the playoffs and also talking about this weekend's race at Daytona. But before we get to Daytona, we got to talk about last weekend's race at Watkins Glen.
I absolutely want to talk about our picks last week.
Yes, Brendan did very well in the picks. Still in last place, but he did very well. But let's start. Kyle Larson won the race. He passed his teammate Chase Elliott on the final restart. Pretty tough entry into turn 1 on that final restart. I know you and I talked a little bit off air. My opinion is Chase should have taken the inside. That way it was not the old 8 tires corner better than 4. But what are your thoughts on it?
Well, look, I mean, right now we got the odds up. And if you look, he was a good winner versus everybody. He was a plus line even on head-to-heads, Motley. So, first of all, Kyle Larson came through for a lot of bettors. I mean, hell, plus 900 to win even. The guy that was been dominating road courses was a plus 900 to win. Pretty good there. But I looked at Kyle Larson's thing, and you and I were talking before the show and said, man, what was Chase thinking? I said, Chase was thinking he wanted his spot. Now, go back to me and Chase's battle in 2014 at Road America. I took the line that was a defensive line. Chase passed me on the restart. I felt that I could get him back. Chase felt like his best shot was to start in the preferred line, the outside, and give a run for it. Wrong move. Do I think there's anything wrong with what Kyle did? Hell no. I am so tired of these mamby-pambies, the reporters and everybody. Well,
they're just looking for a story.
They want to make a story. There's no story here. And Chase Elliott doesn't need to be upset. Chase took the offensive line. Kyle Larson did not go in and wreck him. Kyle Larson did not go in and move him. Kyle Larson did not go in and make a mistake. Kyle Larson had A.J. Allmendinger on his butt. Kyle Larson went in deep as he could to make sure that Dinger didn't get in there and make him 3 wide and knock them all to hell. And he locked up a break for maybe 15 feet.
Which line would you have taken?
I'd have taken the bottom. I would have restarted on the bottom. I would have taken the defensive line because I was going to be more worried about Dinger doing something crazy, getting up in there and knocking us all 4 wide and finishing 20th. I would have taken the bottom, taken the protected defensive line, taken the preferred line into turn 2, which is where the bottom is, and I would have done that and absolutely taken it. But I would have run defensive, offensive through defense. Chase went full offense, and it backfired on him. Kyle didn't wreck him or knock him. Kyle went in, moved him 5 feet.
Oh, I've got
5 feet's all that matters.
Right, and I think most normal people would have no problem with what Kyle Larson did.
No, I didn't either.
And it's also got to give Kyle Larson a lot of confidence going into knowing that Charlotte, the Roval, is going to be the cutoff race in the second round of the playoffs too. to get a win on a road course.
I don't think Kyle is worried about his confidence
Well,
on road courses.
That may be true. Well, let's look at his numbers. You mentioned he was plus 900 to win, plus 250 for a top 3, plus 260 to win Group B, and there were some hard luck losers in Group B because A.J. Allmendinger was also in Group B, and he ended up finishing second in the race. Kyle was plus 500 as a top Chevy, and you mentioned him being on the plus line on a couple of head-to-heads, 125 against Tyler Reddick and his teammate Chase Elliott there on the last lap.
Head-to-heads at plus 125 for Kyle Larson on a road course. Yeah, that we should have called that a lock last week too. I mean, that's he absolutely, and great job by Kyle to get those numbers.
Yeah, and let's take a look at our top 10 from last week. I don't really see any names up here that really come as a huge surprise to me. Joey Logano was a little bit fortunate that the contact between Larson and Elliott allowed him to come in for a top 3. Daniel Suarez, Michael McDowell, who are good road course racers. Tyler Reddick, actually, I may be surprised he didn't finish better than 7th, but he had some problems early in the race, got put back behind the field. Christopher Bell, Christopher Busch, is it Chris Buescher or Christopher Buescher? Depends on if Dale Earnhardt Jr. is talking, I guess. Pretty funny what's on top of his car right now. And then Eric Jones. Maybe that's a surprise for a top 10.
No, remember, I talked
Eric's
about him.
A good racer.
I talked about him last week that this was his best road course. And Eric Jones coming in with a top 10 there. But if you look, that top 10, every single one of those guys we talked about, even in some of the groups saying, can't pick, I can make an argument for all of them. Michael McDowell, phenomenal. Daniel Suarez already won this year on a road course. Reddick already won. Christopher Bell has won on a road course. Chris Buescher, the season he's had on road racing. And Eric Jones, his best road course. So top 10, weird names, right? McDowell, Jones, Buescher, but not Dinger, but not guys we didn't expect to be there.
I was going to say, every week, usually there's 1 or 2 guys in the top 10 would say, whoa.
Yeah, none of
I
that
don't think we look at that top 10 and see that at all. So, and our other props, we mentioned Kyle Larson was plus 500. Joey Logano was 10-1 to be the top Ford. Christopher Bell, not a big surprise. He was the top Toyota, came in at plus 250. Let's take a look at our NASCAR standings, Brandon.
This is the thing we need to look at.
So now as we go into the playoffs, what we do know is we have 14 drivers that are locked into the playoffs. Ryan Blaney and Martin Truex would be the 2 drivers on the bubble, if you will. Quite simply, if Truex wins or Blaney wins, they are both in the playoffs.
Yep.
If anyone wins the race that is in the top 30 in points, not named Truex or Blaney, one of those guys is going to be out. Right now, Blaney certainly holds the advantage over Truex. He's what, 30?
25.
25, is that it?
25 points.
25 points ahead of him. So he certainly has a huge advantage. Now, if Blaney goes and runs in the back of the pack and Truex goes and knocks off a first or second in the first 2 stages, suddenly that number shrinks a bunch.
Look, an hour ago before this show started, I was prepping yesterday, looking at things, talking about Martin Truex Jr. was basically in a must-win situation. He was out. And Blaney, I was going to talk about how I was going to bet on the Fords, that all the Fords were going to get behind Blaney and push Blaney to get there, and all the Toyotas were going to get behind Martin and push Martin because it was going to be a manufacturer goal. And I had everything ready for today, Motley. All that's out the window now.
So how do you think teammates are going to play into all this? And what strategy do you think Blaney and Truex are going to take? Now I'll just say this about Ryan Blaney. He has always run really well at the Daytonas and the Talladegas, and he has been known to be up front early in these races a lot. And my whole theory is most of the time if there's a wreck, if you're running in first place, you're not in it.
So here's the deal. I still believe that right now Toyota is sitting there with all their eggs saying, we got 6 bullets. And in those 6 bullets, we got 1 that is basically sitting in right now, and we want him in. He's our marquee guy. Yeah, they want Bubba in. Yeah, they want other people in.
But if Bubba's in, the chances are Truex is out.
Absolutely. But so I think that right now they're putting a lot of eggs and saying, hey, we're pushing Martin Truex or Bubba Wallace, whichever it works out, they're going to put all their eggs there. The Ford guys.
So if they're both up front, who does the Denny's and the Kyles and the Christopher Bells?
They're just going to push them both. Whoever they like better personally. At that point, it's who I like better as a person, who I'm going to push. I mean, that's the way it is. But now if I look at the driver points and then the Fords right now, they have one person that they care about. I don't care you can talk all you want about RFK and Brad Keselowski and this and that. They are protecting Ryan Blaney because they cannot let Martin Truex Jr. win this race they can't let Brad Keselowski win this race and then Martin finish ahead of him in all the stages and beat him by 25 points and let that happen. So I think the Ford camp right now has all their eggs in saying Ryan Blaney is going to be our number one guy. Blaney's going to be up front. We need to keep with Blaney. And you know what happens when people do that? You make mistakes.
Well, and that can make mistakes. And again, you've mentioned it before. If you run that close together and there is a mistake, then it can take out the entire team or the entire group of manufacturers. And there's a number of other Ford drivers out there that certainly are thinking they've got a shot. You mentioned Keselowski, Buescher, Eric Almirola, who's got a win at Daytona in his past. So, I mean, I think there's a number of guys in the Ford camp who thinks, well, I still have a shot at that. Michael McDowell is another one.
There's three guys that have big Ford money, and that's Eric Almirola, Brad Keselowski, and Chris Buescher. Those three guys right there are marquee drivers with marquee names, with marquee teams. So they're the ones that Ford is definitely saying, but they want to keep that Ryan Blaney up there. He's second in points. That's the guy you think is who you want, who's going to be there. That's where you're fighting for.
Well, and here's the other situation. If Blaney's running well, or Almirola or Buescher or Keselowski have a chance to win the race, well, then if you're Ford, guess what?
They can call
now we can get two in.
They can call an audible. If Martin Truex has problems early in the day, they can call an audible and now say, okay, everybody get behind Chris or Brad or Eric, whoever happens to be running to the front.
Because they become more important than Blaney at that point.
Because then they get two Fords in the playoffs. Absolutely. There'll be a lot. Listen, this racing, the way this goes, Motley, a lot of audibles get called here. This is why I think you and I have said it. Daytona is the greatest race they could have asked for the cutoff, because it just screws with the whole system.
Well, and that's a great thing. I mean, I think that was almost genius of NASCAR to set Daytona as the final race. I mean, I think we saw the excitement last year.
If a new guy wins, it still counts as 16 winners, even though Kurt's out.
Well, that's true. We would still have 16 winners.
So there you go.
I agree with you. And it's certainly wide open. There's a whole number of guys who could win this week's race at Daytona. And keep in mind, if somebody like a Noah Gragson or a Ty Gibbs wins,
that makes Martin and Ryan happy.
Right. The other two are still in great shape. Okay, we'll be back on Gone Racing, start talking about the odds for Daytona. Welcome back into Gone Racing. Jeff Motley alongside Brendan Gaughan, and we're talking about this weekend's Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona, the final race of the regular season. We've got two playoff spots on the line heading into this race. Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex Jr., the two guys in the catbird seat right now. We're going to take a look at the stats from the past. We look at, obviously, everybody knows Denny Hamlin's prowess at Daytona. Denny Hamlin's got 3 wins at Daytona in 33 races, including 11 top fives. The only guy really that comes close to him there is Kevin Harvick, who's got 2 wins and 11 top fives. He's run 9 more races there. But a number of other guys in the field here who have wins at Daytona, and they're not the names you necessarily expect out of some of them. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Michael McDowell, Austin Dillon, Joey Logano, Austin Cindric, and Ryan Blaney. And Brendan, one thing that kind of jumps out at me there is 3 of those guys that have wins at Daytona
are
not in the playoffs yet.
Look, Austin Cindric, it's a very small sample size, right? It's one win, 2 races.
But he's in.
He's in. But I just, that's like, But, here, you look at guys, we always talk, this is the time of year we always talk Ricky Stenhouse. There he is right there. This is the time of year that we always talk, Austin Dillon and what he's done, those guys. But how about this stat? We're talking who's in and who's out. Ryan Blaney, super speedway racing, not just Daytona. Super speedway, 6 top 10s, 4 top 5s, 2 wins, last 10 super speedway races. Who's the number 1 super speedway racer right now?
Sounds like Ryan Blaney.
Ryan Blaney. Who's number 2, though, in the last 10 races?
In the last 10 races?
Last 10 super speedway races. Who is the second best?
I don't know, stat man. Let me have it.
Bubba Wallace.
Bubba Wallace. Well, and look, I think
who's out of the playoffs?
I think every time that we see Bubba on a super speedway, we feel like he's got a chance to win. I mean, he's got several second-place finishes, and he had a win last year at Talladega, albeit I know we had a rain-shortened race, but hey, guess what? That trophy sitting on his shelf doesn't say.
Still win. I don't care how it comes. Second, first, second in the last 4 super speedways. Second, first, second, 17th, which that happens at races, but look, he's on fire.
And look, if people want to take long shots, this is a week to take a long shot, because we're not going to be shocked by anybody showing up in victory lane on.
No, I might take 5 winners this week and see if I can't pick one of them.
Well, there you go. Well, speaking of winners and odds to win, everybody is a double-digit odd to win this week, Brendan. Our favorite is Chase Elliott at 10-1. Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, and Bubba Wallace are 12-1. William Byron, Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, and Joey Logano all at 13-1. Kyle Busch and Austin Cindric at 15. Martin Truex Jr. at 18. Tyler Reddick, Daniel Suarez at 20. Alex Bowman at 22. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kevin Harvick, Christopher Bell, Brad Keselowski at 25. Chase Briscoe and Austin Dillon 30-1, a former Daytona winner.
I really like that Austin Dillon sitting right there 30-1, back against the wall. Got a couple teammates, one that's in the playoffs. Got the Colleague Racing cars that are pseudo teammates right there. When you talk about guys that are out on the Chevy camp, the numbers right now, the two people are Ford and Toyota that we're talking about, right? Those camps are trying to protect. Chevy's just going, let's ram another one in there. I really like that Austin Dillon number 30-1 right there. I think that could come true.
Well, and I wanted to ask you about that because we did talk in the previous segment about how, the Ford teams are going to rally around Blaney or one of the other Ford teams if Truex has trouble early. We know Toyota's going to rally around Bubba and Truex. Do all the Chevy teams rally around one of these Chevy drivers?
No. They just rally around any Chevy. Whatever Chevy's in the front, whatever teammate. If you got a bunch of all four Hendrick cars are in. So Hendrick don't care.
But no, that's what I'm saying, though. If Austin Dillon is running fifth and there's 3 Hendrick cars up front, they gonna let Austin Dillon have a shot at this win? Or is it going to be like, nah, forget Austin Dillon, we don't care?
Do I think they will let Austin Dillon
I don't want to say
no.
win, but
will there be a conversation with big wigs with manufacturer titles and even some people maybe with the last name of Ford or last names of
Jim Campbell is the head
Jim
Chevy
Campbell.
guy, so.
Campbell's will there be very high up people sitting there going?
But I don't. Well, I just can't see Jim Campbell climbing up on the pit box and telling Rick Hendrick.
He doesn't have to climb on a pit box. He's got radio to every single one of them.
Well, everybody can hear that radio conversation.
No, they can't. Not those ones.
So what do you? I'm asking the question.
I think here's the deal. Here's what it's always been at the end of these things. If the opportunity is there, it doesn't hurt. Now, is a Rick Hendrick car just going to flat out lift and pull over to let somebody come 2 rows at it? No. But is the opportunity there to get another one of your Chevy teammates in? Absolutely. Look, I used to talk a lot of crap about when I showed up to these things. I was there just for me. I'm not going to lift. If I'm going to win, I was going to win that thing. But if I'm in third and I can pick between pushing Austin Dillon for the win, Noah Gregson's this same position. If Noah can win, Noah's going to win. He don't care. But if Noah's in third and you got 2 choices between Martin Truex or Austin Dillon, guess what? Noah Gragson is not stupid. He is going to put that nose right up to Austin Dillon and try to push him for that W.
All right, I'm just going to push you just a little bit farther. The front row, inside line, you got Austin Dillon. Outside line, you got Chase Elliott. And you're William Byron, and you got to pick which line you're going with.
Oh, you're picking Austin Dillon for the win?
You are.
Yeah.
You're not going with your teammate.
No, Chevy at that point will have enough say to say, we want that win.
Okay.
We want that driver in.
All
Absolutely.
Right. Let's take a look at some of our bigger long shots, which we know long shots in this race come in often. Eric Almirola, Eric Jones, and Chris Buescher are all 35-1. Ty Gibbs subbing for Kurt Busch, along with Michael McDowell, former Daytona 500 winner, at 40-1. Yes. Justin Haley at 50-1. Cole Custer is 75. Ty Dillon, Daniel Hemrick, Corey LaJoie at 100. Todd Gilliland, Noah Gragson, Harrison Burton 150. David Reagan, Landon Castle. David Reagan 200-1. Landon Castle, Cody Ware at 500-1.
Listen, David Reagan wouldn't surprise me at 200-1. Michael McDowell, a winner. Justin Haley, a super speedway winner. Chris Buescher, Eric Jones, a phenomenal racer. Daniel Hemrick, tons of experience. Corey LaJoie has been one of the better super speedway racers in the last, especially with this new car. Corey, if you look back at the stats, Corey's done really well here at these places. So I would not be surprised if anybody from this page still can get it done.
Well, and I kind of agree with you there. And I mean, when David Reagan, he's got wins at Daytona and Talladega and a little bit better equipment than what he's in right now. He was running for Roush at the time. But I'm kind of with you. I mean, I don't see anybody on that board except maybe Landon Castle and Cody Ware that I say to myself, no chance. I don't see Landon Castle or Cody Ware. I don't see Cody Ware being around with the checkered flag.
But everybody else on that page, I can give you arguments for each one of them.
Right.
And absolutely, this is a tough one to pick a winner. It's hard. This 40-man horse race is the hardest one of the year, harder than a road course, harder than anything else. This and Talladega are the two toughest horse races to pick the winner.
Well, now let's take a look at our top threes. No big surprise, Chase Elliott's the race favorite, so he's also the top favorite for a top three at plus 275. Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin at 330. William Byron, Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, Joey Logano 400. Bubba Wallace, Kyle Busch, Austin Cindric 425. Truex, Reddick, Suarez 550. Bowman 600. Stenhouse, Harvick, Bell, Keselowski, Briscoe, and Austin Dillon, all at plus 800.
Now, here's how I'm going to do my bets this week. I'm going to bet in clumps. If I'm going to do top threes, I'm going to bet a clump of Fords or Chevys because it's going to be a clump, right? We know that they're going to try to get themselves together. So I could pick an Austin Dillon at plus 800. I can pick a Tyler Reddick at 550, and I could pick a Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at 800 or 600 there. And I could have three of those guys who are all three of them are trying to go for that top three, and they all have an opportunity to be there with great return. You could even smack a couple of those in there and get a really good return. So I'm going to go heavy on picking manufacturer together in top three because I think that's the play.
All right, let's take a look at some of our longer shots for our top threes here. We got Eric Jones, Eric Almirola there plus 800. Eric Jones, Chris Buescher, Ty Gibbs all at 10-1. Michael McDowell is 12-1. Justin Haley 15. Custer 20. Ty Dillon and Daniel Hemrick and Corey LaJoie all at 30. Gilliland, Gregson, Harrison Burton at 50. David Reagan at 60.
Yeah, and same thing. I mean, there's some good numbers on a top three. I think Jeff, you and I, I'm not going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say I think we see a double-digit top three winner this week, just judging off of some of the names I see. Eric Jones, Chris Buescher right there to run right off the page. Michael McDowell, how well he's been running at the super speedways in the last bunch of years. Even a Hemrick has a really nice shot at something like that. So, I can foresee a double digit. Michael McDowell, 4 top 10s in the last 10 super speedway races, including a win.
Well, the one thing that's missing off that page right there is a driver clinched into the playoffs. So my theory is if you want to bet one of those guys, why not bet them to win? Because if you're one of those guys, isn't it kind of wreckers or checkers? I mean, do you really, if you're Michael McDowell, do you really want to run third?
No, you're going to go for the win, period.
And the chances are you're either going to win it or chances are you're going to end up either facing the wrong direction or you could potentially end up finishing 20th or 25th, right?
Absolutely. You can take that. That's the anti-argument to my pick a group of top three guys that are all non-locked in. That's the anti-argument for it, and it absolutely plays through. That's why betting goes the way it is. I can make arguments for every side. Which theory do you want to go on?
Well, that's one of the great things about Daytona is we can always make an argument for every side, and we haven't even used Brendan's favorite word yet. So we'll be back on Gone Racing, and we'll start breaking down the head-to-heads. Want to rewatch any part of today's show or any past show? Check out the Gone Racin podcast. It's free and available now at VSiN.com/podcast or wherever you get your podcast. We'll give you all the latest news, odds, and everything you need to know to head to the betting counter before each NASCAR Cup Series race. The Gone Racing podcast is free and available now at VSiN.com/podcast. And while you're there, catch up on all the other VSiN shows as well. Jeff Motley, Brendan Gaughan, back here talking about the Coke Zero Sugar 400. That's a lot of words here at Daytona. Final race of the regular season.
Says the guy that used to have the UAW Daimler Chrysler Union Proud.
No, and it just stopped at Daimler Chrysler, and then we put a number on it. So
we didn't. You had one of the longest ones. You had that one that was like.
No, the long one was like Atlanta had like the quick trip Foals of Honor. Go get a free Pepsi 400 or something. I don't even know what it was, but anyway, all right. We're talking about driver head-to-heads, which. Brendan, our driver head-to-heads a little different this week. We actually have some real numbers on driver head-to-heads at Daytona. Normally, everybody's minus 110, and we go ho-hum, and we spend 30 seconds saying basically what I just said, and then we move on to the group matchups. But we'll talk a little head-to-heads today. We do have some plus numbers. Ross Chastain and William Byron are both plus 110 against Chase Elliott. Kyle Busch is a plus 105 against Joey Logano. Ross Chastain getting a plus number 110 against Bubba Wallace. Kyle Busch a plus number 105 to Denny Hamlin's minus 125. And Ty Gibbs even money against Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s minus 120. Anything interest you there?
Yeah, one, I like that that the Westgate threw in a Ty Gibbs bet. That's kind of impressive right there. And against Ricky, I got to say, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Everything right here intrigues me is the minus line. And let me tell you why. Ross Chastain, yeah, he's our most recent super speedway winner, won Talladega. Won Talladega, pissed everybody off doing it, and he's pissed everybody off since. Ain't a single soul out there going to help Ross Chastain right now, especially not on something like this. I love the minus lines on all the Ross against Ross. Kyle Busch absolutely despises racing these places. And you're telling me that Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin, two of the better or maybe even arguably best super speedway racers, are only getting minus 125? I like all the minus guys on this. I would go super heavy on the minus guys. The only reason that's going to not work out is if the wreck happens, but I like the minus lines.
Well, and I can see why you would. I mean, I guess that's the reason they're on the minus lines.
Yeah, but I'd bet heavily on them. Like, I feel that good about them.
And I think, and Ty Gibbs getting in here is going to be his first time ever on a super speedway in this next-gen car.
It's Ricky Stenhouse. We know Ricky's aggressive, but I think Ricky versus Ty. Ty's going to have his hands full. Ty is going to be nervous.
Tell me this, and maybe you've talked to some of these guys. How drastically different is the drafting in the next-gen car to the Xfinity car? Because when he goes out there to practice, nobody drafts in practice because they're always afraid of the big wreck, especially now that they're only getting a 20-minute practice session. It's all going to be for qualifying. So what kind of a learning curve is Ty going to face?
I've talked to the boys, and they did say that these things are very different. You actually still have power in them when they get to break. There's the bubble, we call it. These things can break the bubble easier. They side draft much more aggressively. So there's a lot of differences in it that Ty is going to have a little bit of a learning curve. I mean, could he still do something? Absolutely. Big things happen. Ty makes it through. We could be talking Ty Gibbs next week. But
late in a race, even teammates probably aren't going to trust him, though.
It's going to be hard to try. I mean, you're talking to a kid who just recently got this. Yes, he's the next great phenom. Yes, he's had all these great things, but there's just a little different trust factor that comes in when we go to the super speedway racing.
And you got to get one under your belt. He might, if he does well this week, then when they get to Talladega in the playoffs,
and then Daytona next
year, if he's in the Cup Series next year, which we think he probably will be, but even though Gibbs says he's not going to be, but we'll see, right? So. If he's not, then I'm definitely going to run this tape back again.
If he's not, I'm going to okay. Yeah, sure. Go ahead,
shave your head or get a face tattoo or something.
No. There's a lot of money put in that hair. That's not taking it off not taking it off again.
All right, let's get to our group matchups this week. Chase Elliott, it's the favorite in Group A at plus 250. Ross Chastain, we're just talking about him. He comes in at plus 275. William Byron and Kyle Larson at plus 280. So we got a whole boatload of Chevys there, including 3 of the 4 Hendrick cars.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting Group A. Ross Chastain, once again, the most recent winner, but not, if you go off of stats, not one of his betters. 2 top 10s in 10 races, one of them a win. So, I mean, I wouldn't put him up in the same likes as some of those guys. But Chase Elliott, I have no reason to touch Group A. There are 4 Chevys, 3 teammates, and those guys are all going to be playing patsy with each other and patty cake and trying to play nice. And a guy that nobody likes out there, I'm not touching Group A with a 10-foot pole.
And we kind of talk about that almost every week. It's very, very rare that we ever pick Group A, either one of us, because Group A, like you said, I mean, everybody, there's a reason why each of them could win. And I think you're right. I think with the Hendrick cars, when you get those big groups of 4 and you put 3 of them in the same group, look, they don't, in terms of a team strategy, Rick Hendrick doesn't care who wins. Now, he wants one of them to win, but he doesn't care which one. He doesn't care which one. So I think it's pretty much the guy that's out front. If he's out front late in the race, he's the guy that's probably going to win.
Whoever's in the front, you're going to push your teammate. And even Rick Hendrick will say this. Once you come off of turn 4, as long as one of you are going to win, go for it.
But he would prefer you both come back with the car in one piece.
But he'll also say this, though. Don't wreck each other and let the guy behind you from a different manufacturer or a different organization win. If you guys are going to go for it, go for it. But don't make it where I'm going to have a meeting on Monday that we finished 14th and 15th and a Ford won the race. Don't do that.
No, that makes sense. All right, Group B, you're talking about clustered and close together here.
Like this.
Even though, and again, we're going back now, we've got 2 Fords and 2 Toyotas.
Hey, not only Fords, teammates.
Teammates. So, or
Denny and Bubba, come
team
on.
owner
That's
and driver.
that's teammate. I mean, that's
So Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Bubba Wallace, all at plus 270, and Ryan Blaney at plus 275. I'm almost seeing Group B is sort of like Group A.
No, I got the reason why I love somebody in Group B that I'm probably going to bet on. You got Joey Logano going to be pushing Ryan Blaney. You got Denny Hamlin, team owner Denny Hamlin, who I guarantee you will not beat his teammate if it matters to anything.
That could be quite a payday for Denny Hamlin by not winning that.
You get where I'm going? So, to me, I love Bubba Wallace or I love Ryan Blaney. If I'm going to bet the Fords, I'm betting Blaney. If I'm betting the Toyotas, I'm betting Bubba. I can narrow that down to a 2-man group, Bubba or Ryan.
Okay, well, now we're still getting to the point which would make me nervous to bet this group because you are like,
I'm down to 2.
Could, yeah,
I'm down to 2.
Okay, fine. But it could be this guy, it could be that guy. Now, if you said, hey, look, I got one guy in that group.
I think Denny Hamlin's going to work harder than anybody because he owns that team. So I'm going Bubba.
So I think you're going to take Bubba and Blaney
no, I'm
and
just
hope
going
one
Bubba.
of them wins the group.
I'm just going Bubba.
Okay.
Denny Hamlin has millions of reasons. Millions of reasons.
And Bubba is much more in the desperation mode. I think if you're Ryan Blaney, you probably are going to Daytona saying, look, if I just don't screw this deal up,
don't wreck.
I'm in the playoffs.
Don't get into a big one.
Don't wreck as long as my engine sticks together.
Finish 20th. I got this.
Agreed. All right. Group C. The guy that hates Daytona, Kyle Busch, plus 255, plus his teammate, Martin Truex Jr., plus 255, who also is not exactly spectacular at Daytona. He's never won there. They are the favorites. Tyler Reddick is plus 290, and Daniel Suarez is also at plus 290.
Now, I've when I used to race, me and Daniel Suarez used to do a lot of good stuff together on these super speedways. So I am a big fan of Daniel Suarez. In this right here, I like the 2 Chevys. I like the Suarez-Reddick pick. I think that Reddick is going to be working very hard to help Austin Dillon win this race. And I think that Daniel Suarez is just going to be picking whoever he needs to go with. He has no dog in a fight, so to speak. So he's going to be running for himself. But I do like the Tyler Reddick pick because he will be up front trying to push Austin Dillon for a W. And that is a deal where that's a team that will flat out say, Tyler, you help get your teammate in. And so I think that that right there plays good. He's the dog, good return. And then Kyle and Martin, yeah, they both hate this place. So I struggle to pick them, so I can narrow this one down too.
Well, I want to mark the time here. We record the show on Thursday morning. It's about 11:38 Pacific time here that Brendan and I are in 100% agreement on this group right here. I honestly think Tyler Reddick and Daniel Suarez should be the plus 255s, and Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. should be the plus 290. So I totally agree with you. I'm in 100% agreement there. I like Reddick a little bit more than I do Suarez here, but either way, I definitely like both those guys. Now, taking a look at Group D, we got another teammate situation here. Kevin Harvick at plus 270, and then Eric Almirola, his teammate, at plus 275, along with Christopher Bell and Eric Jones, also at plus 275.
Same theory here. Harvick is going to do what he can to help Eric get in the playoffs. That is a big deal for them right there. And then Eric Jones, the lone Chevy in there. You can take the lone wolf, so to speak, Chevys will be working with him to try to help him. And go the Chevys against that one, or I would go Eric Almirola. Once again, I'd nail that down to 2 drivers, Eric or Eric.
Eric with an A or Eric with an E?
Eric with an A or Eric with an E, and I would pick one of those 2, but I would struggle to find I'm going to struggle to sit here and tell you, okay, I like this Eric more than that Eric. Eric Almirola done really well here, but so has Eric Jones. So,
gosh,
4 top 10s last 10 races.
I mean, well,
for Eric Jones.
What are the chances that you and I are going to agree
2 in a row
again? On 2 in a row. So, but I'm with you there totally. Okay, we'll be back on Gone Racing. We'll finish up our groups and give you our picks. Welcome back into our final segment of Gone Racing. Jeff Motley alongside Brendan Gaughan breaking down the groups for the Coke Zero Sugar 400.
And we are agreeing today.
and we're agreeing. Man.
Kiss of death for people. Kiss of death.
Right. Go run away.
Go the other way.
Run away fast. All right. Moving through our groups. We're on to Group E now.
Run away.
Is that a song? I don't know.
No. You didn't get the Monty Python deal? Come on.
You know.
Anybody else in here?
I
Get the
guess
Monty
I'm
Python
just
Run
never
Away?
been,
Thank you.
I was
got
never
a
a big
hand.
Monty Python
Wyatt's
guy.
way too young. Pritch, everybody else get the Monty Python Run Away? Run Away? Okay.
See, I saw Spam-A-Lot. Does that count? I don't know.
Go to the groups. Bail them out. Put the graphic in.
All right, our Group E. We got 3 favorites up there. Austin Cindric, Brad Keselowski, and Alex Bowman, all at plus 265. Chase Briscoe, the long shot there, at plus 290.
You know, this is a group that I do struggle a little bit with. When you look at it, Briscoe locked in the show. You know, he's got locked in the playoffs, got the 1 win.
There's only
Bowman,
one guy not in up there.
Only one guy not in, Brad, and he's 265. It's all tight. You know, this is the group that I don't like. I mean, I don't see Cindric trying to win the race, especially if it's trying to get a Ryan Blaney or a Brad Keselowski, and I don't see Cindric up there really trying to go out and W this thing. Bowman, I don't see really anything on Bowman's side, you know, either, nor do I see any stats that make me jump out and say Bowman. 4 top 10s, average finish of 20 in the last 10 races on super speedways. You know, Chase, Brad, but I'm sure Wyatt, you know, who has this infatuation with Brad, will probably have Brad in this group.
We agree again. I don't even really have much to say about Group E. I'm not betting it. Not interested in it. Doesn't concern me.
Yeah, Group E and Group A to me, I'm just putting an X over and don't care.
Move on to Group F. Now, Group F, we got
Let's run away from Group E.
We got all 4 guys here not in the playoffs. Of course, one of them can't be in the playoffs. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. plus 265. Chris Buescher plus 270. Ty Gibbs and Michael McDowell coming in at plus 275.
So one that's driving a playoff car.
One's driving a playoff car, and 2
are trying to get.
And 2 of them have two of them have wins at Daytona, I believe.
So here's the deal. I like Chris Buescher as well as Chris has been. Chris has absolutely outperformed his teammate. Has absolutely been the best one that this season when it comes to that organization. Chris, 4 top 10s, a top 5 last 10 races on super speedways. I like Chris in this one. Ricky is that. We haven't used the word once this show. I am going to do it just for Motley. Ricky is the crapshoot of the group because Ricky gets aggressive. Ricky either is going to be in the top 5 going for the win, or he's going to be wrecked out in a blaze of glory in 35th. So I'm a fan of Chris Buescher in that group right off the bat. Even though McDowell with a win under his belt and he does do well, I like Chris Buescher.
Well, we have an agree and a disagree in that group. I agree with you on Ricky Stenhouse is probably going to be first or worst.
Yes.
But I like McDowell here.
So do I. I
do
don't
like
dislike
McDowell
him.
here. And it's not like I don't like Buescher either, but I like McDowell a little bit more than I do Buescher.
And when I do the stats, they're right next to each other. Now, when I go to Daytona stats, not super speedway, guess who's the second best at Daytona? Michael McDowell.
Well, there you go.
5 top 10s last 10 races.
All right, let's look at our manufacturer props here. Our top Chevy, Chase Elliott's the favorite at plus 500. William Byron, Kyle Larson, Ross Chastain at plus 600. Suarez and Reddick 10-1. Bowman's 11. Stenhouse is 13. Austin Dillon 15. Eric Jones 18. Justin Haley at 25. Ty Dillon at 40. LaJoy, Hemrick at 50. Gregson 80. Castle 250.
If I'm going to bet anything in a top Chevy prop, I'm going to bet someone outside of the locked-in playoffs.
And
so
I see 2 guys I really like numbers on, by the way.
I see Austin Dillon and Eric Jones are the 2
that's the same too.
Jump right there to me.
Absolutely.
15 and 18-1. You know that if the situation comes up, they will be getting pushed to a win. Whether they win or not, they will be getting help getting that win. I like Eric Jones, Austin Dillon, both great returns.
Agree totally. I don't know what else to say. You said exactly what I would have said. All right, top Ford. Ryan Blaney, plus 380. Joey Logano, plus 400. Cindric, 500. Harvick, 900, along with Keselowski. Briscoe and Almirola are 11. Buescher is 12. McDowell, 14. Custer, 28. Gilliland and Burton at 60. Reagan, 75. And your buddy B.J. McLeod getting on the board there at 150-1.
I do love B.J. McLeod. He's a nice man. I struggle with the Ford prop. The Chevy prop is pretty straightforward, right? All their guys are mainly locked in. They got nobody on a bubble. The Ford one is the one that's very convoluted, right? You got Blaney battling with Truex. Do they let him get the win? Do they want just a winner to win? You got Chris Buescher. You got Brad Kay on the outside. I am the top Ford prop to me is like a poison pill. I am staying away from the poison pill today.
I don't disagree. I don't really agree with you as much on this one, though, because that's a big number on Blaney to me to be plus 380 when I really – all right, look.
And he is the best Ford normally. I mean,
he normally is the best
guy,
Ford here. He's plus 380, and the best other Fords around him, Harvick, Cindric, Logano, they're going to push him. Now, obviously, Keselowski or Almirola, Buescher could become the wild card in there, but I just think with Blaney being what I think is the best Ford anyway, I like Blaney here a lot. That's just my pick.
Okay.
All right, we'll take a look at our top Toyotas. Denny Hamlin comes in the favorite at plus 275. Bubba Wallace and Kyle Busch both at plus 350. Martin Truex Jr. plus 450. Christopher Bell plus 650. Ty Gibbs 11-1.
I'll tell you what though, 11-1. That's a very small number for even Ty Gibbs. I mean, they're very tight on this one. Here's the deal. We've already talked about it. Your Martin Truex is the guy that they want to push in, right? Martin or Bubba. Those are the two guys. If you're going to bet one of those two guys. Because and here's the deal. 350, 450. Bet 2 units. I'm guaranteed a return. If it's Martin Truex, congratulations. They are going to work hard to get one of those two people into this playoff, whichever one is running at the end. So you only have 6 cars to choose from. Take 2 units, bet Bubba, bet Martin. You're guaranteed. I'm going to say the word guaranteed. It's going to be one of those two.
Don't disagree at all. I think you're exactly right. I don't think I'm going to bet it.
No, but I
I
use the word guaranteed. Look, if they wreck and Ty Gibbs happens to be the lone Toyota left running, right. Ty Gibbs will get it. But they are not going to have, they're not going to let Denny Hamlin be in the front of the Toyota group with 2 to go. They're going to do everything they can to make sure it's a Martin or a Bubba to get in that playoff.
Right, no question. All right, we'll take one quick look at the standings, the odds for the season here. Really not much of a change other than now. I mean, Martin Truex Jr., he has gone from opening the season at plus 925-1, but I'd say his odds got a lot better today. I'm sure that's not reflective of the fact that it looks like he's probably going to make the playoffs. We've kind of talked this year about moving from preseason to current odds, but at the end of the day, if you're going to win money on somebody, take a flyer on one of these guys that's not in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, right now you got Blaney 15-1, Truex 25. That will go down immensely next week. So put your money on them right now. They're the ones that have moved.
All right, let's take a quick look at the standings, our picks. Last week, Brendan, you were the big winner last week. You had A.J. Allmendinger for a top 3 and also had Chris Buescher to win Group D. So you were the big winner, made a little ground on us. I picked up a win with Eric Jones in Group F, and our pit crew picked up a win with Chris Buescher in Group D. So they were on the same page with you there. So pit crew still holding a small lead over me, and Brendan, you're making up some ground. We got 11 weeks to go.
I am very far in the back right now.
But it means you get to pick first.
Yes, it does. So I am going to jump off right off the bat. I am going to go into the top 3s. I said I was going to I would front load if I had more than 5 units, but I only got 5 units. So I'm going to go with Bubba Wallace in a top 3. Once again, Toyota's going to be trying to push him and Martin Truex. Martin doesn't even like to get up there. I think it'll be a struggle for him to be there to do it. So I'm going to go Bubba. Does really well at these places. Back up against the wall. Let's go get it, Bubba Wallace. Austin Dillon, plus 800. I think the same thing is going to hold true. A bunch of Chevys are going to be working to help him. They're going to do everything they can. I like that one. I'm going into the groups after that. I'm doubling down on Bubba Wallace in Group B. Same theory. I got 2 Bubba Wallaces this week. How about that? I'm lock them in, man. I think we can get a shot at it. Oh, you know what? I had a different one there, but I'll stick with it. Tyler Reddick, Group C, plus 290, and Chris Buescher, Group F.
All right, and we'll let Wyatt.
No, you're second now. You're not leading.
I'm second.
Yeah, you're not leading now. Hey, hold Wyatt for a second. Get your picks in.
I hate this. I'm so used to going last. Okay, real quick with my picks, I'm going to go Eric Almirola for a top 3 because I like the way they're going to help him out. I'm going to go into the groups. I'm agreeing with you on Tyler Reddick in Group C. I'm going Eric Jones in Group D, Michael McDowell in Group F, and Ryan Blaney as the top Ford.
All right, for the pit crew, we're going to go with Ryan Blaney to win at 12-1. We kind of made this pick before the Kurt Busch news. So hopefully that comes for us. We've got a surprise here. Corey LaJoie, top 3, 30-1. Tyler Reddick to win Group C, plus 290. Eric Jones to win Group D, plus 275. And drum roll, please.
Foreshadowing.
In Group E, Austin Cindric will not be my pick because it's Brad Keselowski to win the group at plus 265.
What did we say? There's a lot of man love going on with Wyatt for Brad Keselowski.
It's like he has to pick Brad Keselowski every
We're
week.
both Michigan Wolverine fans. We gotta stay together.
The Buckeyes.
Lost last year.
Wow, we got one guy up here wants to put the block O up, the other guy wants to put the big M up.
Had he said O, I would have said go Wolverines. So no dog in the fight.
All right, that's all the time we got for this week on Gone Racing. We'll be back next week, break down Daytona, and start the playoffs.